Welcome to the Unreasonable Stories podcast, the place where we get to hear about the untold stories of individuals who are looking to help define progress in our time. Today, there's no exception to that pursuit. I get the privilege of sharing a conversation with Dylan. Dylan is the founder and CEO of Voyager Space Technologies. They went public last year. Before that, they raised over $450 million. Dylan is one of the most prolific private investors in the space economy. And today, Voyager is setting out to become the premier space infrastructure company, really of the 21st century. We're going to get to explore not just the cosmos in our conversation with Dylan today, but also how his work, having helped lead over 1,400 experiments on the International Space Station, now looking to win the bid to rebuild the next version of the International Space Station called Starlab, how his work is on not just the frontier of imagination, but also the frontier of human and planetary health. He's going to explain that to us. We're going to go, yes, into the stars, but we're also going to go into the personal story that Dylan has been on, his life's journey, what he's learned from being a parent, what he believes mentorship really is, and how mentors have played a role in shaping who he's become today. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this conversation as it unfolds with Dylan. Well, Dylan, welcome to our Unreasonable Stories podcast. Just to begin, first time we've done this in person, and I think the most important thing is just to thank you for your time, because I know you have a lot going on right now, and it's a gift for me selfishly, even if nobody watches this, to have the chance to sit down to talk about you, your life, but also talk about space, where it is now and where we're moving. So Thank you, brother, for the time.
My pleasure. Great to be with you, Daniel.
So Dylan, so Space Technologies, you founded the business when?
We founded Voyager August of 19. So we're going to be 7 years old in about 5 months.
Okay, 7 years old in 5 months. And in that time, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on these numbers, Voyager Technologies, you raised over $500 million in the private market. Is that correct?
Right.
And then 2025, so just last year recently, you went public.
Right.
And for those of you who don't know, who are tuning into this, can you explain Voyager Technologies? Because it's a platform play that is really pulling together where space is moving. But I think for a lot of people, it looks like so many things. So can you tell a little bit just about what the company is doing? Then we'll go into why.
Yeah, for sure. So space infrastructure company is probably the best way to think about it. So we do national security applications and space infrastructure. So a couple of key things that we're involved in that people might be interested in. One is we're building a successor to the International Space Station. So
that's very cool.
A commercial space station called Starlab, which is fantastic. We have partners on that like Palantir, Airbus, Mitsubishi. We're also the largest commercial user of the International Space Station today. Yeah. So a lot of the missions and experiments that happen on the International Space Station today are our company running those missions. Yeah, amazing. We've done 1,400 missions.
1,400
to the ISS
in just the last 7 years.
Well, the company we acquired actually was founded prior to that, so call it last 15 years. We've been doing that. So those are some of our major applications. We also do a lot of picks and shovels type work. So when we talk about what's happening in space, there's a lot of applications that require things like communication, which is typically done with lasers, or how do you identify where you are in space, right? GPS doesn't work. So there are things like sun setters and star sensors that allow you to position amongst the stars. So all these different applications, and of course, as you know, and we'll get into it, space is my passion. Yes. So this is really, really cool stuff. And to put a finer point on it, I mean, this is a mission-driven business, right? We believe 100%. Very strongly that space is not only the next big thing for humanity, but it has direct benefits to life here on Earth. And not the least of which is this perspective shift that astronauts get when they see the Earth from space.
Which you have had the chance to do, which we are totally going to talk about. This is such a gift to have this conversation. It's actually an important thing. With Voyager Technologies, you talk about space not as an escape valve, but instead as enhancing humanity, but also life on this planet
That's
more
right.
broadly. Can you share, if we go way back in time
Mm-hmm.
though, as I just mentioned before we started rolling here, my wife and I are about to have our first son.
Congrats.
And thank you. When I think about space exploration, it takes me back to being like a boy in the field looking up at the stars with this incredible curiosity and wonderment and awe and connection. But I'd love to go into, when did you first fall in love with space? Like, when did this love affair begin?
Yeah. Well, I definitely, age 3.
Age 3, that counts.
Literally, that's the punchline. I definitely have the explorer gene, Daniel. I mean, I'm compelled by what's over the hill, what's possible, whether that's the frontier of the way your mind works or the frontier of a geographic zone or technology. So I'm definitely wired that way.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a bit cliche. It was honestly with Star Trek.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it with my dad.
Yep.
And, at the time he was in graduate school getting his PhD, and we were kind of living in I'd say a little bit of a rough situation.
Where were you? Where were you living?
We were in Denver, actually, in West Denver, in a pretty rough part of town, frankly.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, we've got this like utopian world. I wasn't thinking utopia when I'm age 3, but I'm like, look, everyone's getting along. Everyone has plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
Every week is a new adventure, a new planet. I'm like, why? That's different than what I see out my front door. I'm like, what's the disconnect here?
Yeah.
And so I was really compelled by not only the sense of adventure, but the sense of social harmony.
Yep.
And that was really, really, really compelling to me at that age. And I never forgot that.
Yeah. And was space always then pulling you, or did you have tangents throughout your development in your career?
Tons of tangents.
Yeah.
So super ambitious, super type A, super I'm going to succeed, and if you get in my way, I'll run you over.
Do you know where that comes from, that ambition?
Fear of failure.
Yeah.
Driven by, I'm sure, my parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it took me a long time to kind of wrap my brain around that and understand, it's a fuel source, right? You shouldn't try to fix that, but you should try to redirect it for more positive aims. And so, I reached a point in my life where, and I think a lot of people could perhaps relate to this, is I was successful, in quotes, but pretty miserable and feeling like it wasn't a purposeful life. It wasn't mission driven. The people I was working with, I didn't necessarily like or respect.
Yeah. Let alone love.
Right? Yeah. I mean, love wasn't even a construct in my mind, right? And so I went through that whole journey and came out that side. There's a book I read, super influential, which you've probably read, called The Last Lecture.
I haven't read. Oh yeah, no, I have read. But like many years ago. Yes.
Great book, and also
incredible.
And also a lecture, of course, on YouTube. And that really got me thinking about, and not to steal the punchline there on what the book and lecture say, but it's follow your childhood dreams, right? And you can have your cake and eat it too. And so I reflected on that. And
how old were you around this time?
I was 40. No, I was younger, 38. I was 38.
Yep.
And just starting our family and had young kids and things like that. So really questioning, it's like, okay, what's the purpose? We all have gifts. What is my contribution to the world? How do I make the world a better place? What's my legacy? Yeah. And for me, it had always been space. It had always been my passion. Yeah. And I thought to myself, well, look, what do I have to offer the space industry? Well, I have a little bit of business experience. I have a little bit of capital. And maybe I can start getting involved initially as an early stage investor.
That's right.
And mentor. And that's sort of how I entered the industry originally. Yep. And then ultimately went into the industry full time, founded Voyager. Yep. Founded a nonprofit called Space for Humanity. That's right. Which is here in Boulder. Yep. That sends private citizens to space. So cool. Which we've done 6 now. Wow. Amazing. In exchange for coming back to Earth and doing a fellowship to make the world a better place.
Beautiful.
And so I mean, I feel like, it's this, construct that the Japanese have where you're operating in the sphere of what the world needs, what you're good at, what you can be successful at. Ikitai, I think they call it. I feel like I'm operating there. And of course, if you're operating in that space, you feel quite unstoppable because your fuel source is unlimited. Yeah. your energy source is unlimited.
Yeah, it's a different thing when your energy source is love-based instead of fear-based.
That's right.
Like many people said this before, but I think love is the most regenerative force
100%.
or energy or fuel in the universe.
100%.
So you've become, by some accounts, one of the largest private investors in space and space industry and space exploration throughout this journey. You also had the gift of going to space. Right. So you fell in love with it watching Star Trek with your dad in West Denver as a little kid. You kind of went off course in some ways.
Yeah, I did.
But then redirected with intention. But then there's this moment when you're actually out there.
Yeah.
Can you describe what that felt like? What the overview effect really is?
Yeah. Well, overview effect is the right term. Frank White wrote that book. Rhodes Scholar, Harvard professor, great guy. He's become a close friend. He's in his mid 80s now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so first of all, life-changing.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I was on a suborbital flight.
Yeah.
So this is an up and down on Blue Origin.
Yep.
I did that in December of 2021.
Yep.
And the money shot is being in zero gravity.
Yeah.
Which in some respects feels like you're floating in the womb a bit. It feels natural.
Takes you back, yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Wow, it didn't feel extraordinary. It felt natural.
Well, it feels extraordinary, but it also feels familiar.
Got it, yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And seeing the Earth from space, I'll do my best to describe it. So imagine a new emotion.
Yeah.
Okay? We're talking a lot about love. I also like gratitude and all these. But think about it, a new emotion. The first part, we'll call it love, but it's really this deep sense of affection and harmony, because everything that you've ever known and everything you've ever loved and every experience you've ever had is right there in front of you. So it's this deep sense of, connection, love, connection, affection.
Yeah.
That's one part. Second part is fear. And it's not fear of dying or any of this kind of thing. It's the terror of the hostility, because 99.999% of the universe, so far as we know, is cold and dead and hostile. And you've got this beautiful miracle, fragile, and atmosphere. If you didn't know the word atmosphere, you wouldn't even describe the Earth as having an atmosphere. It is literally a whisper.
Wow.
It's like the dew on the leaf in the morning. And so you're thinking to yourself, that's what's protecting us from
this whole thing, everything I've ever known and loved and experienced. Right.
You're like terrified. You're like, wow. It's like, we're so fragile. Yeah. And then the third part of the emotion is anger. And the anger is because you feel like you've been whispered the password and the answer to something truly profound. And you are so frustrated that the world doesn't see it. Because when you're up there, what you understand is there is no other place. There is no other people.
Yeah.
There's only here and us.
It's just us.
That's it. Like there is no the others.
Yeah.
No. That's not the reality of our situation. So imagine those three emotions, fuse them together, multiply by 1 billion, and bury it so deep inside of your spirit that you can't unremember it or unfill it for the rest of your life.
Wow.
And that's what it's like.
Wow.
And, just to validate some of this, I participated in this psychological study with a professor out of Johns Hopkins, Dr. David Yaden. He was at Penn before that. And he was studying awe. You used that word earlier. And I'm a big fan of awe and
one
wonder.
of the coolest sensations.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. Exactly. I mean, we're all kind of chasing that, right? And so he was looking at everything. He was looking at the awe from nature. He was looking at psychedelics. He was looking at meditation. And what he found is spaceflight is literally off the charts.
Really?
It's like a 4-standard-deviation event. And,
so you're not exaggerating when you're talking about this feeling.
No. No, it's literally off the charts. And I'll even go so far as to say, I don't think you can go to space and not be impacted. Yeah. Because I've had the privilege of meeting, I'll make a number up, but it's directionally correct, 50 astronauts, male, female, Russian, Korean, Japanese, American, atheists, Muslim, Christian, hardcore fighter pilots, artists, and to a person, they have been impacted.
Every single one.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could talk the entire podcast about this, because I
want to.
To me, this is like, when people say, well, if I can, I'll just talk briefly about Space for Humanity.
Of course.
When I founded Space for Humanity, I was in an Aspen Institute fellowship.
Yep. This is Henry Crown?
Henry Crown.
Yeah.
And you have to do a venture, a project. And I'm sitting in this room. There's 20 of us in this fellowship. And it's one of these things, that hundreds of people are nominated. And they clearly...
They make mistakes every once in a while.
They make mistakes, as exemplified by my selection. But I'm sitting in this room, and it's Rhodes Scholars and, whatever. Like the elite, smartest, most successful people in the world, supposedly. Mm-hmm. And everyone's lamenting the fact that the world's broken and they don't know how to fix it. And I'm thinking to myself, if people in this room don't feel like they can make an impact on the world, I'm like, something is
Where
wrong
are we?
here. Right? And what I concluded was the issue is not enough ideas or enough resources. Yeah. The issue is we lack perspective.
That's right.
That's what I concluded. Yeah. And we're too parochial, we're too myopic, and when you zoom out, you're the fish who gets out of the fishbowl and realizes that you were in water the whole time. That's when you can actually impact some of these more intractable issues. So that was my conclusion. So if you believe that to be true, then the question is, well, how do you shift people's perspective? I know spaceflight works. Yeah. So then I thought to myself, okay, it doesn't scale particularly well.
Yeah,
I get
not
that.
yet.
Not yet. But if we can get 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 citizen astronauts to space that come from different communities that haven't had a chance to go to space, and then it's not me talking about this power of transformation and space as a tool for transformation. It's those people who went. Yeah. And so, for example, the first person that we sent for Space for Humanity was Katya, who is a Mexican-born female who had crossed into California with her mother undocumented. Yeah. She's got a great story. She was working at McDonald's, barely spoke English. Wow. She has a dream. She wants to work for NASA. That's her dream. Learns English, gets herself into community college, crushes it, gets herself into UCLA engineering school, crushes it, and gets an internship with JPL.
Very cool.
So we selected her, and she ended up going and changed her life. She ended up becoming a celebrity and, cover of Vogue and her own Barbie doll and a flight suit for Space for Humanities and the Smithsonian Institute.
No way.
And the president of Mexico, she influenced Mexico to actually build a STEM education center for young women and girls in Mexico. Wow. Named after her. Yep. So these are examples of that little seed of change and perspective shift had that impact.
It's like one of our mentors describes this, I think, really well. It's like an acupuncture needle for Earth.
Yes.
Like if you can get those specific individuals, and then it sounds like give them this embodied experience. Then maybe that's actually what we need. Yeah. Even though it's not so many people, to your point, but the ripples of the impact can really echo.
That's a genius way to explain it. I like the acupuncture analogy, but yeah, that's the thinking. And if we could send 1,000 people, that'd be better, of course. Yeah. But so that's really my passion. And so tying back to Voyager, the idea is, again, how do you build the infrastructure? That's right. We need places to go. Yep. Commercial space station. One dream would be, maybe we have a G20 meeting on a commercial space station in orbit. Maybe you get a different outcome. Maybe people have a different point of view. And I get a lot of this is Pollyannish, Daniel, I get it. But I think directionally, if we want to inspire people for what's possible, and this is what I love about space, right? It's a blank canvas. Yes. And we've got a lot of co-creation that we can do, and we can help shape this.
That's right. That's right. So many questions for you, Dylan, but I want to go a little bit back in time again, because there are so many people who at such a young age and throughout life have been pulled, by the cosmos, like at the level that runs, as deep as it can go. Right. But there are very few who then actually launch a space company, go into orbit, send others into orbit, become one of the largest private investors in the entire space, for lack of a better word. And you've done that. What gave you, I don't know quite the right answer, but permission, courage, support, the ability, the tenacity to not just dream, but realize, hang on, I can actually play a role here.
Yeah. Well, I think it starts with ambition.
Yeah.
Like not, trying to make my parents happy, right?
Yeah.
You're the little boy trying to get love and affection from your parents. I think that's where it starts. So I don't think you take that out of your system. I think you're wired that way, probably. So I think it starts with ambition, but I think where I've been able to shape it a bit is rather than personal ambition. I had a mentor one time who called it reflected glory, and he said, Dylan, when your pleasure in seeing glory that you bring to others exceeds your desire for personal glory, you'll truly be a leader.
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten that. So expanding the aperture, how do I impact the world? How do I make a difference in the world? And then if you believe all that and you're driven that way, and I know you're wired this way too, I then ask myself, what are the impediments? Like I work backwards from here's the end state.
Yep.
What are the impediments? And my philosophy is I'll do anything within that value chain that needs to be done. Yeah. Sweep the floors, proverbial sweep the floors. But so, for example, with the early stage investing in space, it wasn't that I envisioned myself as a great investor, but when I looked at the industry at that time, there wasn't enough early stage capital. I thought to myself, okay, well, companies at the time were saying, well, we need more public company exits. And we need more venture capital investors. And I said, well, yes, but you're never going to get that until you gestate the companies, right? So you got to focus on the first part and create the flywheel. So that's why we then started on basically angel part of the capital stack. So again, it wasn't that I thought this was going to be a great investment necessarily, or that I was a great investor, but it was a need that the industry had.
There was a gap, and you could fill it.
That's right. And it ended up being, ironically, a home run investor-wise, but that's not how I was thinking about it. And now the way we're thinking about it is, what does the industry need? The industry needs the next base layer of infrastructure, commercial space stations, lunar bases, communications, power. And so that's why we're really focused on building that layer now.
You mentioned the International Space Station retiring at some stage here, and then Spacelab, this commercial substitute in a way come into play. But can you describe for those who don't know what's happening to the ISS and how this has come to be for you to be working on literally building the next version of the space station?
Right. Yeah. So the International Space Station, probably the best thing humans have done, honestly. It's been up there 25 plus years.
Wow.
It's the most complicated machine we've ever built, $400 plus billion. It's a consortium between the Europeans, ourselves, Japan, Canada, and Russia. Russia's still on the International Space Station and being a good partner by all accounts. So I think space is kind of this grand unifier in many respects. But the station is aging. And it's got some cracks, they say, air leaks.
That's a little scary.
Well, these are small. But the point is, it's not going to last forever. And so currently Congress is proposing extending it from 2030 to 2032.
Okay.
But I don't think it'll extend much beyond.
Probably not going to go beyond that.
I wouldn't think so. So NASA then put out procurements on building successors.
That's right.
And they want a commercial model. We were fortunate to be one of the winners of that phase one competition. And then our project, Starlab, is this consortium with Airbus, Mitsubishi, Palantir, Hilton Hotels, Northrop.
Hilton Hotels?
Well, Hilton's involved, because we were trying to reimagine human habitation on orbit. And Hilton was a partner to that. And they're great designers as well. So we've been working on that for the past almost 4 years.
It's Starlab.
Okay. And there'll be and we've passed, I think it's now 28 milestones with NASA.
Wow.
So that's all going well. We've had our design review back in December. And then NASA will have a phase two competition. They'll probably select 2 final successors.
Got it.
Those will then be constructed and then launched. Ours should be in orbit in 2029.
Wow.
Yeah.
So exciting.
I know. It's exciting. It's right around the corner.
Wow. It feels like the space industry itself, the space economy is just at such a an inflection point.
Yeah.
Some of these things that I imagine you've been thinking about, dreaming about, investing into, supporting. Totally. You can maybe see that future clearly.
Oh yeah.
Now the public markets are recognizing it. I mean, you went public. Just when last year, was it November? June. Sorry, June. You went public in June, and just to tie that story in, because you first came into Unreasonable as part of the Unreasonable Fellowship through Reasonable Impact that we run with Barclays,
right?
And I know they were a part of the IPO offering itself.
They were.
I'd just love to hear, what was it like to take this platform, take this company, public, into the public markets? How was it received? What were some of the learnings throughout that journey? Because you're one of the earlier space companies to do this.
That's right.
Many are about to.
That's right. Many are about to, and and it was a pretty narrow window. Last summer, there weren't a lot of companies that went. We were purpose-built to be a public company. So from the first day we founded the company, because I had run public companies my whole career, and I had done several IPOs in my career, and so I knew that the industry needed a public company platform. So we had purpose-built it to take it public. And we didn't anticipate COVID. We didn't anticipate the Ukraine-Russian conflict. So my original plan was to get it public in about 4 years.
That's right.
Which was aggressive, and it ended up being 6 years, which
still kind of aggressive. It was well done.
Still kind of aggressive. Super happy with it. It was very well received. It did really well, and it's traded reasonably well since then. So I think what I really wanted to do. We were getting a lot of pressure. Well, consider a SPAC and all these things. And I told my team at the time. I said, look, getting public in some respects is the easy part. Hard part is being a high quality public company. 100%. And I want to provide leadership to the industry. I want to show a proper S1 IPO process and provide some leadership.
Fairway.
That's right.
Do it well.
Do it well and do it professional. Do it with, a great banking team, with proper analyst coverage, institutional investors and all that. So I'm very proud of what we have done. And I think, to your point, a lot of space companies are now in vogue. We've got the SpaceX IPO coming up, and I anticipate several companies getting public this year. Yeah,
they'll probably follow the poll of that offering.
That's right.
And what was it? Part of what we're trying to do within the Unreasonable Fellowship is bridge these unlikely relationships between very disruptive, fast-growing, science-based, technology-based solutions that can pull a brighter future into the present, and the world's largest institutions. And in this case, Barclays, over 330-year-old financial institution. What was it like to be working with their banking team with such an edge case technology?
Yeah, they were fantastic. Rob Brass was our banker there, and Rob.
Rob's amazing.
Yeah, Rob is fantastic, and Rob, I have to credit Rob because I think he helped us shape our narrative in a way that we hadn't totally seen from the outside or from the inside. So he was super instrumental in helping us craft, I would say, our go-to street messaging. So Rob's been great. Barclays has been great. We had other, banks on the deal, of course, but they've been great partners. And we worked with Barclays also on a follow-on offering. We did a convertible offering. They were on that deal as well, and they're part of our banking syndicate for our credit facility. So they're great partners.
So you guys are cooking together.
We are. Yeah. And I saw Rob. We were in Miami at a conference not too long ago, and he had me on stage. So he's a great guy.
Love it. So you mentioned a little bit earlier talking about the future and what's possible. The industry is moving so quickly. I'm curious, if you look forward 10 years from now, what is it that Voyager Technologies and you are really working towards? And if this realizes its potential, what's different?
In the world?
Yeah, in the world.
God, I love this question. So we think of the 3 L's. LEO, which is low Earth orbit. Lunar.
Love
and it. Lagrangian.
What is that?
Which I'll get to.
It sounds cool.
It sounds cool. I know. So, let's start with Lagrangian. So Lagrangian there are 5 Lagrangian points, which are these stable orbits. Think of an orbit between the moon, the Earth, and the sun. And think of it as getting tugged by all 3 of those bodies equally. So you kind of sit in a place.
You're in a good spot.
And you don't basically need energy to maintain that orbit.
Got it.
Think of it as almost like a permanent orbit.
Got it.
So there's 5 of these.
Yep.
The most interesting ones are L1 and L2. L2 is about 1 million miles from Earth.
Yeah.
That's where the James Webb Telescope sits.
That's right.
Which is super, super interesting and great piece of
it's incredible.
Technology that humanity has built. But the idea was there was a professor at Princeton, Gerard K. O'Neill, went by Jerry O'Neill. I actually had a media company that made a film about Jerry because he wrote a book called The High Frontier, which was instrumental with Jeff Bezos.
Yep.
When Jeff Bezos gave his high school valedictorian speech, he talked about reading this book, how it changed his life, how he was going to go make a bunch of money and then build space colonies based upon this book.
Wow, no way. That was his plan from high school?
It was his plan from high school. Wow. And so Jeff is an O'Neillian.
Yeah.
I would consider myself an O'Neillian.
Yep.
But one of the things they worked out was to build these, he called them colonies, but think of them as gigantic space stations that would have thousands of people.
That's right.
At these Lagrangian points.
Wow.
L5 being where he envisioned it.
Very Star Trek-like.
Very Star Trek-like. And I could talk a lot more about that, but the idea is these Lagrangian points, think of that as like a deep space strategy.
That's right.
Because you can prove technologies there that would be relevant to Mars, be relevant to the asteroid belt, and other strategies like that. So we've got a strategy around Lagrangian. Working our way back, you've got Lunar. And so we've got a big push into a lunar initiative. We call it Project Prevail, is what we refer to it as. And it's really 3 parts. One is designing around lunar dust. We've got some key technology that allows you to mitigate the dust, a coating technology that because one of the design parameters on the moon is the dust gets in everything.
Got it.
And think of it as like little shards of glass.
Yeah.
So that's a key part. The other is generating usable oxygen from moon regolith. We've got key technology for that.
What is moon regolith?
Soil, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. They call it regolith because it's essentially, think of it as crushed up rock.
Got it.
But that's, so extracting usable oxygen from that.
Wow.
And then the third part is building lunar habitation.
Yep.
We invested in a company called Max Space, which does expandable, inflatable, soft-shelled, if you will, habitation. And we think that's the right solution for lunar.
For the moon.
Exactly.
So cool.
So that's lunar. And then low Earth orbit, we talked about that earlier, but that's where the commercial space station will go and all that. So those are the different strategies. So what would our impact be? Our impact would be having infrastructure in LEO, doing experimentation in LEO, which we can talk more about this magic of microgravity, because you can print organs, Daniel. You can do perfect crystal growth in microgravity and a lot of other really cool things. So think of this as a flying laboratory with really innovative science to benefit life here on Earth. So that's the commercial space station platform. And then for the moon, so why the moon? Well, first of all, if you're a believer in fusion, which I think most people are, we're running out of helium on Earth. They've got a ton, literally and figuratively, of helium-3 on the moon. So that's a reason to go. There are lots of rare earths, minerals on the moon, which, as we know, aren't that rare here on Earth, but they're controlled primarily by China is the biggest issue. So we have all those. You can generate, unlimited power in space. We're talking about putting compute in space because there's a big NIMBY, not in my backyard, with data centers because of power and water. And
you have infinite cooling and solar energy.
Although the cooling, believe it or not, it's counterintuitive. The cooling is actually tricky.
Really?
Because, actually, it's easier on the moon, but it's tricky because you don't have, you can only radiate heat away.
God. Yes.
Because, on Earth you have 3 different kinds of cooling. You've got radiative, you've got convective, and you've got conductive. When you touch something that's colder. In space, you don't have the latter too.
Got it.
There's no convection because there's no medium to exchange heat. And there's no conduction because you're not touching anything either. So it's only radiative. So you need a pretty large radiator to radiate away the heat. It's all solvable. but it's counterintuitive.
Totally right. Yeah, very.
And that's why I think, Elon's talking about building these data centers in space. I think the form factor would be like a dorm-sized fridge.
Yeah.
And do a mesh network.
Got it.
As opposed to, let's say, a school bus-sized data center, because then the radiator would have to be, 100 yards long.
Wow. Okay.
To radiate it away.
Yep.
Yeah. So
this is your life.
Yeah.
So in the last 15 years or so, you mentioned was it over 1,200?
1,400.
1,400 experiments on ISS.
Yeah.
When you have Starlab, obviously, I'm assuming you're going to be doing at a higher clip or velocity than that.
That's right.
But if we go back in time, those 1,400, what have been some examples of where those experiments have informed our ways of being here that have improved life on Earth?
Yeah, there's some great examples. So one is the breakthrough drug Keytruda for lung cancer.
Wow.
Part of the issue with drug efficacy is working out formulation.
Yep.
And formulation has a lot to do with protein folding, crystal growth, and how to actually create a molecule that works inside the body.
That's right.
The only way to do that here on Earth, under the weight of gravity, is to put it in a human or put it in an animal.
Yep.
When you put it in space, you take away that compression, and you can actually see how molecules behave biologically, even though you're not inside a biological vehicle.
That's wild.
Yeah, totally. So that's one example. Think of all these drug formulations, but Keytruda is kind of the poster child of that. The other is printing organelles.
Yeah.
So humanity have printed a meniscus on the International Space Station and brought it down to Earth and shown that you can actually put that in to a human. So you ask yourself, well, why can't we 3D print tissue on the Earth? And the answer is because the gravity is such that you can't put a surface layer in place waiting for the next layer without it getting crushed under its own weight.
Got it.
But you can actually print an organelle in microgravity,
Yep.
let it congeal and set up, and then return
bring
that
it
to
back.
Earth. So imagine your stem cells being utilized to print a kidney on orbit that matches you.
Comes back perfectly.
Wow. It won't be rejected because it's you. It's you.
Oh, that's trippy.
So that's a whole nother thing. And then the third is perfect crystal growth. So you can actually grow a perfect crystal in space. Yeah. The beautiful thing with perfect crystals is you can bring them back to Earth and grow a larger perfect crystal around it.
Got it.
Because once you have the seed,
it just goes.
So there's lots and lots and lots of applications for that. Semiconductor wafers, optical fiber. I mean, anything that requires pristine materials. And there's lots of applications of that. Those seeds can be grown in space and brought down to Earth.
Dylan, what would you say? Because there's so many challenges, problems, therefore solutions that you're working on and working towards. But if you really got to like the deepest layer of it, and maybe it's tied to that emotional feeling that you described earlier, but what is the deep why behind Voyager Technologies for you?
It's to shift perspective and to inspire people to reimagine what's possible for humanity and for how we treat each other. And so it really is that get the fish out of the fishbowl and have them understand that they were in water and that there's a different perspective. So that's the greater why. So one of the things I like to ask people is it's a thought experiment, which is and here's how I frame it. The future of humanity in space will be defined by the answer to a question. That question is, what will happen first? The first human born in space or the first combat fatality in space?
Totally right.
And I think the answer to that question is going to define very much. Now, we live in a world, we project those dangers in other domains, and space is a domain, and we have a space force, and China's got a. And by the way, we did that in reaction to what our adversaries were doing. So that's the world we live in, and so a lot of people will say, "Look, humans are humans, and everything we are here, we're going to be out there." I reject that. I reject that because I think that assumes that you can't shape it, you can't influence it, you can't imagine a better outcome. So I completely reject that.
You used the word earlier that although it was novel, that experience, being on the limits of Earth and zero gravity, but it also felt really familiar.
Yeah.
Is this about remembering like who we really are and how we can be in relationship with one another? Or is this about like stepping into a new future? Like I don't quite know how to frame that question.
I think it's a genius question, Daniel, because, and I know you know the answer to the question. I can tell because it's embedded in the question that you're asking. Yeah. I think it's remembering because I think it's kind of that third part of the emotion that I was mentioning earlier, where it's like you're so frustrated because it's so obvious.
Yeah, it's so
when you're
simple.
up there. It's
clear.
It's so clear.
Yeah, you've always known it. It just brought it to the surface.
You've always known it, and it's like it's so frustrating. I think it was Edgar Mitchell, one of the astronauts on Apollo, is like, you want to grab them by the lapels and say, "Take a look at this, you SOB." I think he was talking about politicians, but that's how you feel, because you do feel like there's this deep sense of connection that exists.
Yeah.
And I think it's so much clearer when you're up there. So to answer your question, I think it is a remembering. And by the way, I don't think you need to go to space to know that. Yeah. There's lots of people, you know that. You haven't been to space, and you know that. So I think there are other ways to discover that. But I think once you're up there, it's very obvious.
What did you, taking it personal, what did you remember about yourself through that experience? And then not in terms of what you're doing that's different in the world, but maybe how you're relating to life or work.
Well, when I came back, I don't think too much changed in terms of what my motivations were, but I just had a deeper sense of urgency. Like I felt like, okay, I'm absolutely on the right track. I'm focusing on the right issues, and now I just need to get to work. And every morning I just bounce out of bed because I feel like I'm doing the most important work I could be doing. So that's kind of how I felt. What's interesting about the spaceflight experience is it's very much not a personal. It doesn't feel like a personal experience. It feels deeper than that. And it goes back to, people say, well, were you afraid? And I told people ahead of the spaceflight, I'm like, I'm going to be terrified. I'm like, how can you not be? It's like, you're strapped to an explosion. I'm like, when you get to T-minus 10, I'm going to be like trembling. Because I'm not particularly brave. And the reality was, I was not nervous at all. At all. I think my heart rate was 52 on launch. Wow. I was not nervous at all. Now, part of it's the training, because you rehearse everything over and over and over again. The second thing is, I think it's just this deep sense of like, okay, well, this is the way I go. It's like I'm living my dream. And so it's really counterintuitive. The only thing I was nervous about was getting scrubbed, because we had some weather that delayed the launch. And I'm like, oh, well, what if they cancel? And then what if we don't go tomorrow? And then what if I never go? And but and by the way, our whole crew was just very chill.
Everybody was. Everybody was calm.
Everyone was calm.
Essence, being strapped to an explosion.
Right. Free cremation if you
if you look at it that way.
Right.
So
something goes wrong.
Now I'm curious, because as you mentioned before, this isn't your first public company.
Right.
You've been leading public companies for a lot of your career.
Right.
For a lot of people, that is the last thing that they want to do.
Right.
And you're choosing to do it again and again and again. What maybe are from your perspective as a CEO of a public company, the misconceptions, and what have you learned about doing it well?
Well, I'm still learning. I wouldn't consider myself. I think there's new discoveries all the time, and the market changes, of course. But what I would say is, I love running public companies, and people think I'm crazy. And I've had mentors. Actually, early days in Voyager, they're like, Dylan, you're an idiot. Do not take Voyager public. Why would you do that to yourself? I like the degree of difficulty. I like having a high standard. I like being held accountable. I like the transparency. I like the talent that you can recruit into a platform like that. I like having a scoreboard in the sense that, you know how you're doing. Your investors are going to tell you how you're doing. So I like all of that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like the pressure. They don't like the have to do's.
Yeah.
But I still control the company. I've got supermajority voting share. So there's things that you can do. We have a great board of directors. It's the same directors that we had when we founded the company.
Amazing.
We have a great.
Says a lot.
I think it does, and they're all top notch.
Yeah.
And we've got a great group of investors, and so I feel like it is a public company, and we have accountability to our investors. But I also think there's enough trust in the system to allow us to run it for the long term.
Yep.
So we don't have this quarter to quarter.
Yeah, you can make long-term decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Because I still effectively control the company with the voting shares. So
yeah, that's a big difference.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Clearly, that was intentional.
It was intentional. We designed it that way. And again, I mean, the investors have to agree to that.
Yeah, they have to be on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in essence, now you can, to the best of your ability, make the right decision for the right reasons in the right ways.
That's right.
In essence, come what may, because you're actually able to look at the longevity of it instead of the quarterly.
That's right.
Yeah. What I'm curious. You've mentioned mentors now a couple times.
Yeah.
You look back through your life. Who's been your greatest mentor?
Oh, I think my dad, probably, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been very blessed with that, Daniel. And people ask me for advice, and they're like, what's the best thing I can do for my career? It's like, should I go to business school? Should I do this? My answer is always find a mentor.
Yeah.
And of course, the next question is, how do I find a mentor? But I think mentorship is really, and by the way, Unreasonable Group has been fantastic. Yeah. All the fellowships that I've personally been involved in have impacted me very positively. Yep. But I am a big believer in that, because mentors, if they love you, which, it's key. Typically, if someone agrees to mentor you, they see something in you, otherwise they wouldn't do it. Yeah. I think if they love you, they're going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you things that maybe you don't want to hear. And I think you get really good input. And so, I'm very blessed. I've had some great mentors, and I've had some not so good mentors as well.
Of course.
Actually, fun fact. So I do a lot of mentorship. Yep. I came up with this mentor agreement, which is a little hokey. Yeah. But basically, what I put in the agreement. First of all, it's like, here's what you're going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Here's our expectations of each other. That's right. Here are the ground rules. Yeah. But in there, I said, by the time you turn 40 years old, but hopefully sooner, you will enter into a mentor-mentee agreement with at least 3 other individuals. Wow. Yeah. You will have a mentor agreement put in place that's identical, or I'm sorry, that's free-form, with the exception of this clause, which must be included in your mentee. So the idea is, look, I'll mentor you, but you're committing to mentor 3 people. Yeah. And you're committing in those mentor agreements that they're going to. So the idea is, like, you can kind of, propagate. So that was my thinking.
I love that.
So for anyone listening, if they're thinking about how do I actually set up by the way, you have to have a mentor-mentee agreement. Yes. In my opinion, because that forces some conversations that you need to have about what is this all about?
What are we really doing here? Yeah. But you didn't have an agreement with your dad.
I didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I'm curious, just on this topic of mentorship. So you mentioned a couple components. One was love. So they genuinely care about you. Yeah. The second one was, in essence, truthfulness. Yep. Like, they'll speak truth to you, truth with love. Yeah. But they will really maybe shine a light where you have shadows, where others may not make visible to you. Right. Right. What else would you say it means to be a mentor?
I think it's really important to understand what the objectives of the mentor and the mentee are. Like, what is it that you expect from this relationship? So I think very clear articulation of the goals. Yeah. I think that's important. And then also, I think some ground rules, like, how often are we going to interact? If I call you, do you commit that you'll get back to me in 48 hours or less? Yeah. Right? Like, things like that. Yeah. Really basic things. But I also think it forces the conversation. Yeah. And, my wife and I met in business school at University of Chicago, so very kind of rigorous program. And I remember we sat down and had group set of goals that we put together before we got married, and people were like, well, that seems a bit excessive. And I'm like, it's not about the goals. It's about the conversation.
Yeah, it's about the conversation.
That's the key thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's really about the space between the two of you.
That's
to
right.
Make it really clear.
That's right. So it's a forcing function to have the conversation.
Yeah. What came through that conversation with your now wife back at University of Chicago?
Well, moving to Colorado.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that was,
good decision.
At that time, we were, we didn't know where we wanted to raise our family. And,
that's right.
But that's so if I would have said, look,
Oh.
like 3 years into the marriage, I really want to move to Colorado.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I want to move to South Carolina. What are you talking about? I didn't know you like. So and honestly, I think there are a lot of relationships that end up that way because they just never had that conversation.
Totally right. Yeah. Someone maybe was scared to voice something that they didn't know if it would land well or whatnot. Yeah.
But it's fundamental. To whether that marriage is going to be a happy marriage or not.
Totally right. Totally right. So going back to your dad, because you answered that question with no hesitation.
Yeah.
When I said greatest mentor, and you've had so many mentors, I feel like. How did your dad mentor you? And why did that show up so quickly for you?
We were pretty close in age. My dad was 20 when they had me. My wife, really mom was 19.
Wow.
So I think, and he was young at heart. So I think we kind of always felt a little bit. We spent a lot of time together. I always knew that no matter what I needed, my dad would be there for me.
Yeah.
He never, he was the kind of dad, never missed a baseball game.
Yeah.
Never missed a practice.
Wow.
Like he just was always.
He would always show up.
He was always there, and he was always just deeply, in my view, and still to this day, very wise. Man of few words, but when he spoke, it's like, okay, well, there's absolute clarity, but also wisdom in what he's saying. So I think, and he's just a super intelligent person. There's very few people, you interact with people like this all the time. I'm fortunate I do too, but if you look at the world, the number of people that you can have a conversation about 10 different topics and have them be insightful on all 10.
That's right.
That's not everybody.
Yeah.
And so my dad was kind of like the universal source that I could go to on any topic. Yeah. And he could provide some wisdom on it.
Yeah. And you trusted that he would be sharing his truth and it'd be from a place of love.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep.
100%. I never got the sense that he was trying to manage me, manipulate me, or to, sometimes I think when you have a conversation with someone, it's like, okay, is this conversation about me or about you?
100%.
And I never got that sense with my dad, ever.
I think at least for me, that's a big part of mentorship. It gets back to your love idea, which is they just want to see you realize your potential.
Yeah.
Whatever that means in the most sincere way.
100%.
It doesn't matter if it comes back.
100%.
But what I love about what you're doing as a mentor to others is you're saying it doesn't matter if it comes back to you, but pay it forward.
Pay it forward.
Because this is a sacred gift and it's something to be passed on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if you look at successful people, whatever that word means, I don't think there are exceptions to this. I think they all had good mentorship. And it could be parents as mentors or siblings or anybody, but I don't think this notion that I've made it on my own. Yeah. And I don't think that's sure real. There are exceptions, but I would be doubtful that there are many exceptions to that rule.
Yeah, I haven't met one yet.
I haven't met one yet either.
I'm sure.
And the people who claim that they did it on their
when
own,
you really dig in.
No.
Yeah.
It definitely takes, I think, especially if you do things at velocity. I think one of the things mentorship really helps is it accelerates things dramatically because you can anticipate issues that or blind spots that you didn't see coming your way.
I have like 2 or 3 more questions.
Yeah.
But one I have to ask.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get this all the time, if this is a silly question, if you don't get asked it.
Yeah.
We talked about switching topics with your dad. You could talk about anything.
Yeah.
We're talking about space.
Yeah.
What is your view on extraterrestrial life?
Oh, yeah. I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
First of all, in the universe, is there life? Yes.
Of course.
The
universe is pretty vast.
Yeah. So I think in things in terms of probability, I would say that's 99 point, lots of nines afterwards. It's not 100% because we don't know, but I would, I highly likely.
Yeah.
are intelligent beings buzzing our control towers and things like that, clearly something's going on.
Yeah.
I just, I'm back to, Carl Sagan said it, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I have seen no extraordinary evidence. If it exists, I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
But what I've seen are a couple of grainy pictures.
Yeah.
And a bunch
Some
of
grainy videos,
and people saying that they were told something.
Yeah.
That doesn't meet my standard.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
am I open-minded on it? 100%.
Yeah, of course.
Can I say, am I in the camp that's like, there is no way this is happening?
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I would give it, back to probabilities, there's a 20% chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
15% chance, 20%. It's not
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah.
I don't think it's likely.
Yeah.
But
it's possible.
But it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. You haven't seen them yet.
Haven't seen them yet, and I would think I would. I'm kind of in the industry, so I think I would. Yeah, I'll just put it that way. I think I would be in a position to know more about this, and
Totally right.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep asking you every time we have a reunion.
Yeah. And by the way, in many respects, I hope it would be true because I think it'd be cool. But I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical. I want to believe, but I'm skeptical.
Yeah. We'll keep on this journey.
All right.
Same. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
As someone who's about to become a father, this is a selfish question.
Yeah.
I'm curious. You have two girls.
Yeah.
They're now grown up.
Yeah.
You were saying before this, they're in university now.
Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself through being a father that has informed how you show up in work?
I think, it's a great question. I think it's all about them, right? And I think, a lot of times, this is back to the mentor conversation, you want to project your unfulfilled wishes and desires on your kids, right? A lot of people do that. And I got some great advice, especially on father-daughter. I know you're having a son, but father-daughter relationships. And but I think this would apply to your relationship with your son as well. And the advice I got from a mentor was every weekend have a father-daughter day or time.
Yeah.
And have the agenda or the activity be set by your daughter. So if they like to hike, you go hiking. If they want to go see a Barbie movie, you go see a Barbie movie, whatever the case may be. And that was some of the best advice I ever got.
Great perspective,
Because not only do you kind of discover what their interests are, but they feel like they, have an invitation to explore their interests and things like that. And get some high quality time. And of course, that's when you bond, and that's when you have these conversations. So I think a lot of it's just, human connection. The mistakes I see with parents are not holding their kids accountable, not letting their kids fail, not letting their kids suffer pain from the consequences of their decisions.
That's right.
I see that. That's a trap. And so I think if you want kids that are self-sufficient and confident and can navigate the world, that I think you need to let them, guide them. But if they make a mistake, they need to suffer the consequences of the mistake.
Yeah. And have you taken some of those postures into the work world as well? In terms of, I think it's an interesting one. As a parent, you may think you know best to your point, but it was such a gift to give them space to actually dictate what it was you were going to do. Are you bringing that same level of almost humility or curiosity into work? Have you found ways to do that as a CEO?
I think so. I give my team a lot of latitude. And I think I encourage them to do things differently, think differently. I also, like, for example, direct reports will say, well, what's your format? Like, do you want to have a weekly one-on-one? Do you want to, and my question is,
what's the service to you?
What works to you? Because I'm totally flexible on that. Because it's really more about them getting communication time as opposed to me, like, tell me what you're working on.
100%.
If I felt the need to say, tell me what you're working on, then they wouldn't have my confidence. Right.
This wasn't the right thing then.
So it's just not my style. And then the other precept, which kind of goes back to the parenting thing, which is, think of a a teeter-totter. It's accountability and autonomy, right?
Yep.
It's like, I'm going to give you complete autonomy,
Yep.
but then you're completely accountable.
100%.
If you want me to be accountable, then you have no autonomy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, but what you can't have is autonomy and no accountability.
Well said.
So that's kind of how
That's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. That feels very true. That feels very right.
Yeah.
So anyone who's tuning into this now, they know Dylan a little bit more as the person, not just the CEO. There's hopefully a new familiarity with Voyager Technologies, what you're working towards, the vision of what it is you're creating. Let's say they want to become a part of that reality, a part of that solution. How can people participate? How can people join you on this journey?
Well, we'd love to hear from them. I mean, obviously we're publicly traded, so if you're interested in that, then there's plenty of resources to check it out. We're hiring like crazy. So I think we've got a couple hundred open recs right now.
You have a couple hundred open roles?
Yeah. So we're hiring, and we're hiring all over the country, including here in Colorado.
Yep,
so,
of course.
So yeah, we'd love to do that. We have a pretty extensive advisory board. So for people who are maybe later in their careers, if you want to reach out on that, I'd love to hear from them. We've got a merch store. People can, wear the T-shirt, wear the hat.
That's right.
Follow us on social media, and and it's not only that. I would encourage them to check out Space for Humanity as well.
Yeah,
because that's also, I think, if you're excited about what's happening in space, I think that's also a really cool organization to check out. It's got an amazing executive director. Amazing board.
And it's here.
It's based in Boulder.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. I love the title of it, Space for Humanity.
Yeah.
And in this conversation, I can't help but feel like everything you're doing with your work with Space for Humanity, but also Voyager Technologies, is really about space for humanity.
It is.
And that really gets to the heart of it.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a gift, Dylan, to get to explore the cosmos with you a little bit, but also get to know you a little bit better. And it's such a privilege to have you in the Unreasonable Impact Fellowship. It's been brilliant to witness just how quickly, like the velocity at which you have grown this company. Yes, take it public, but even a couple hundred openings right now in this present moment speaks so much to the tenacity, but also the clarity of vision that it is you and the team are working towards. So
thank you.
Thank you,
David.
It's been a gift.
Thanks for your contribution to this journey. The Unreasonable group and the fellowship had a big impact. So I appreciate it, and it's been a great conversation. You're a great conversationalist, and you, I think, bring out the best in these conversations. So thank you.
Well, and you're a very unreasonable man, so it makes it easy, Dylan. Thank you.
Thank you.